your forecast first. Sponsored by Natex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Good evening to you. Another beautiful day across central Illinois. No issues here. We've got a few clouds around, but it was a day with full sunshine. We're going to carry more of that nice weather into tonight. We're in the low 70s right now, enjoying a nice evening on the back deck, front porch, taking advantage of these low humidity levels and very comfortable temperatures, crisp and cool after the sun sets, of course, as we dip down to those upper 50s by 10 o'clock tonight. Now, it gets a little warmer. We'll talk about some humidity and when a little bit of rain is in the forecast when we come back. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now on WCIA 3 News.
Are U of I students following the rules when it comes to COVID-19? And who's watching them to make sure they do?
It was the scariest moment of my life. I didn't know what to do.
He was accused of sexual assault and took a plea bargain. 20 years later, find out who says it never happened.
Mom, I've got Richard Nixon's half-eaten buffalo barbecue sandwich here.
This young Boy Scout ended up with the president's lunch leftovers, and it's put him in the spotlight for years.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 6.
I've been labeled a sex offender my entire adult life. And I spent my entire adult life proving that's not who I am.
That's because he was convicted of sexual assault, but he says it never happened. And now this Vermilion County native is trying to clear his name. Good evening. I'm Jennifer Roscoe. Jason Matthews agreed to a plea deal 20 years ago. He took it to avoid going to prison, but he says his entire life has been ruined since then. WCIA 3's Courtney Bunting is live in our newsroom. So, Courtney, why was he accused?
Well, Jennifer, I talked to him, and he says it was because the victim's mom made it up. I talked to the woman listed as the victim in the case, and she says Matthews is innocent.
It was the scariest moment of my life. I didn't know what to do. I was looking at 60 years in prison.
And all for something he says he didn't do. At just 17 years old, Jason Matthews was accused of something that would shape the next 20 years of his life: sexual assault.
I was 12, lived in a small town. Jason lived a couple blocks up the road from me.
Nikita Holmes is listed as the victim in the case, but she says none of it happened.
My mother wasn't really the nicest mom around, so I would sneak out to go see Jason and his sister. Got caught coming back in one night, and my mom was like, "Where were you?" And I was trying to tell her I was with another friend, but, you know, she didn't believe that, so I fessed up that I was with Jason and Sherry, and ever since that day, I never saw Jason ever again.
Holmes says her mom accused Matthews of assaulting her, which eventually turned into charges against him. Matthews took a deal to avoid time behind bars, but it hasn't made his life any easier. He's now fighting to prove his innocence and to get rid of his sex offender label.
There's no employment. You're not going to get a job anywhere. And if you do get a job, you're not going to be safe, so I've always worked for myself.
Matthews and Holmes eventually reconnected, and the two are now fighting together.
Still, 20 years later, no one has spoken to me about any of this. If they would, it would be over.
I talked to Holmes' mother on the phone this afternoon. She told me she doesn't remember filing a police report against Matthew. She says she does remember finding a condom on her couch in her home at the time, and she talked to kids in town who said it was Matthews. Then she says she remembers telling police to keep Matthews away from her daughter, but again, not filing a report. Reporting live in the newsroom, Courtney Bunting, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right. Interesting. Thank you so much, Courtney. Now, Matthews has been trying to have his record cleared since 2018. He was back in court today. His case was delayed until late October. The state's attorney's office can't comment on pending matters. We have new details. A second person has been arrested in connection with human remains found in Vermilion County. 35-year-old Melinda Warfel of Paris has been charged with first-degree murder. In April, workers found remains on a property outside of Indianola. They were later identified as 30-year-old Anthony Rausch of Paris. On September 3rd, 24-year-old Dylan Steele was also charged with first-degree murder. Several U of I students have been ticketed for not following COVID-19 guidelines. Now police have some extra help in cracking down on rule breakers. WCIA 3's Gabrielle Cook live on campus. So, Gabrielle, what are they doing?
The Champaign-Urbana Public Health District hired 2 retired Urbana police officers to patrol certain areas. This comes as the state is asking for public health departments to play a role when it comes to enforcing rules. It can be difficult to keep track of thousands of college students. That's why the Champaign-Urbana Public Health District has brought on 2 retired officers to help in areas where there are a lot of complaints.
We wanted somebody who is more experienced and can also document any of the non-compliance issues, so that if we ever have to give them a citation or if this goes to court.
The officers have been on patrol for about 2 weeks. When they're called out, their job is to remind people about guidelines in place.
On average, we are getting about 5 to 10 complaints a day, and so these staff members are going out on a routine basis.
One student we talked with thinks that adding more eyes can help, but isn't sure if it will make a big difference.
I think it'll probably deter some people. I'm not sure how much really, because I know that the police department that they already have has been doing some of that measures, and people have still been doing parties.
Another student hopes they keep tabs on bars near campus, where public health has already been called to deal with overcrowding.
Images of people at the lines, they're insane. So that obviously violates the over 10 people limit. So I'm not sure why people aren't being reported who go there.
These retired officers will alert police if they need to take any more steps rather than just reminding people about the rules. So that's citations or anything that's a step further. Live in Champaign, I'm Gabrielle Cook, WCIA3, your local news leader.
Gabrielle, thank you so much for that. 2 more people from Coles County have died from the coronavirus. That's the 28th and 29th deaths in that county. Statewide, 30 more people have died. There are now almost 8,500 deaths. Public health is reporting more than 1,500 new cases. That makes more than 277,000 total. The 7-day positivity rate remains at 3.5%. Is the U of I doing enough about COVID-19? At a virtual town hall today, the reviews were mixed. U of I officials have touted their rapid testing, new app, and test sites as adequate responses to the pandemic. But building surface workers, students, and other staff aren't convinced that's enough. More than 70 people were on the Zoom. U of I officials were invited to the town hall. No administrators came. An organizer called the provost's office and was told his calendar was full. We reached out to University Communications but haven't heard back. And we have an update from the U of I on a different story. The Academic Senate voted in favor of a mascot, the Kingfisher. The resolution asked for the chancellor to publicly condemn any public use of the chief. The Board of Trustees has to review that, but that isn't stopping students from showing support. They've already printed items like masks and cups with the logo.
The task force is trying to do everything in regards to pushing the Kingfisher mascot and making sure that this movement does not die out and making sure the momentum continues behind it.
The university also says alumni will play a key role in the final decision. Who's to blame for the pandemic here in the United States? The president talks one-on-one to tell us who he says is responsible, and also tonight. It might be the most famous sandwich that was never completely eaten. How a Central Illinois man hit the big time because of what was left over.
And as the sun sets here tonight on our camera, Roofing Dog on it, Flooring America, camera in Danville, 77 and 47. Right on the money for normal, below with that 47-degree start. All right, when we come back, cool mornings still ahead with lots of sunshine. We'll talk about a little bit of rain that is in the forecast when we come back.